Hello. These three numbers relate to your world. We're looking at airport operations. So this is something that's going to affect you on a daily basis. And I'm sure it's something that you've come across more than once in your time when you have been at the airport. So this first number, the number 3. Now this number came from a man called Kari Savalainen. Now Kari is the CEO of Helsinki Airport. Now they did a study and they found out that 1 in 3 passengers choose their transit airport based on passenger experience. So this has nothing to do with cost, connection times, airline preference. It's purely based on passenger experience. And another thing to think about is that we know that there's a huge correlation between passenger throughput and satisfaction and the opportunity for revenue increases within your terminal operations. So this second number actually comes from a behavioural economist called Daniel Kahneman. Now, Daniel managed to prove beyond doubt that humans care more about avoiding a loss than they do about gaining anything. In actual fact, they care at least twice as much about avoiding a loss than they do about avoiding a gain. So what does that mean to you? That means that although we are focused on providing a positive experience to our passengers, we also need to look at making sure that we avoid that negative experience. I'm sure, from your perspective, I know certainly have experienced being in an airport and having that unexpected wait at security and that impact that it has on my perception and my experience of being within that airport. I think from a financial perspective as well, it's always important to look at your passenger processes. Whether or not you're waiting in a queue for a long length of time or if it's at security or check-in, for every minute that your passenger spends in a queue, there's actually a loss of, on average, $1 per minute on increased non-aviation revenue. That's a considerable number to think about. And that came from a study that Lockheed Martin ran 2 years ago. So with inflation, it may be slightly more now. So it's going to be a tough job for anybody. But we really need to look at avoiding bad experiences and improving passenger experience for all of our customers. Now, this last number 5, I'm actually going to come back to that later on. So first of all, what I wanted to do was to talk about a UK airport who recently gained a lot of press. And I don't think it was the press that they were looking for. And the reason for this press is that we're all great at planning for normal operations. But it's when irregular operations take place that we really struggle. So if we have the opportunity to see ahead, then that can have a positive impact. So, take this airport. You've got your airside processes, so your flight operations, but you've also got your terminal operations here, okay? So when we talk about flight ops, we are talking about your flight schedules, we are talking about air traffic and the involvement that we have with them. We're also talking about other stakeholders that are involved on that airside operation, so everything from your ground handlers to your fuelers and everything like that. From your terminal operations, what we're really looking at is all the resources and the planning and everything that goes into planning for the day ahead. And that includes passenger process tracking information, we're looking at the number of security guards on shift, all those types of things. So every day we come into work and we have a plan. Now this plan is designed from the information that we have, and it's designed to meet the demand of our passengers. You know, we're looking at the number of flights we have on during that day, when our peak times for travel are, how long it takes passengers to, you know, when the expected arrival time for these passengers. This is all in plan. And exactly, you know, we come into work every day and we expect that to be normal. However, you have 4 flights coming in. Okay? Now, how often have you been in work in the airport doing your daily job and you find out that these 2 flights actually arrive 15 minutes late from their scheduled arrival time? But these 2 aircraft arrive 15 minutes early. Now what that actually means is you have 4 aircraft coming into your airport at the same time. So your plan that you had in place to manage these is completely out the window. Now what happened in this scenario is because these 4 international flights all arrived at the same time, there was a huge backlog in their customs hall, which obviously had a very negative feedback on this airport. You know, the press were involved. It was really, really negative.